Hello guys, welcome back to our tutorial. In our last videos we learned how functions work, and then we did some exercise with them to get used to the functionality of functions. And today I want to show you how useful functions are and how useful it is that we can use code from other people they wrote for us and we can just use it for our projects. For this I already made here a new file, Luxor.jl. And first we want to install or download the code other people wrote for us. For this we use packages they provided for us. There are two ways. Either you go here in the Julia app and press here this button, then you're in the package manager. Or the other option is you just type in here in the terminal Julia.exe, and we are also in here. Then we type here this bracket. What we type here is here this bracket. Then we come, I zoom a bit in that you can see it a bit better. Yeah. With this bracket you come to the package manager. And when we're here, we just add the package. The name you have to Google before, but then just type the name in with add in front. And then it's installing it, it's downloading it from the internet. This can take some time because depending on the size of the package, please don't cancel this process, otherwise you can really damage your installation of Julia and it can be that you have to reinstall it. So please wait. So now I waited, it's finished for me. It took about 2 to 3 minutes in my PC. Maybe yours faster or slower, I can't tell you, but now it should be installed. Then we can add here another terminal, and then we have here our normal PowerShell. You can also switch between them both. Here you can also just delete the terminal if you don't need it anymore. Then we are here in the PowerShell, and what we have to do now is we first have to tell Julia that we want to use this package. How can we do it? We just type in here using and the name of the package, like Luxor. And what is Luxor? Luxor is a graphical package. That means with the package we can easily generate our own pictures. And now I want to explain you the basics. We start with a Hello World program, and first we have to give Luxor a drawing space. That we do here by drawing. I get already the recommendation here, drawing. And then we say how large the space should be. We have one x coordinate and one y coordinate. I say here I want to have 1000 pixel in x direction and 1000 pixel in y direction. Then in the end I also say where I want to save that file. In this example I call it here hello world, and dot. Here I say which file it should be. I decide for PNG, a normal picture image. This is a string here. Then the next command I will do, we don't need it, but I will do it here. This is the origin command. And the origin command sets the 0, 0 of your coordinate system in the middle of the picture. Otherwise it's in the left upper corner. Then we define the background, and in our case the background should be black. So we can just type in here the color black. You can also use RGB values if you're a bit more advanced, but I think for this that is really easy. Now we have a black background. We can see this already when we compile this or let it run. So we have to make here finish. This is just a command from the program, from the package, to know now the picture is finished. And then we can make here preview. This preview also will show us the picture, otherwise it only is saved as picture and we have to find it afterwards. So let's run this. Julia Luxor.jl. It takes some time because graphic is always a bit connected to effort. And now we see here we have a picture, 1000 to 1000 pixels and a black background. So now we also want to draw something in the background. That we can do by defining first the color in which we want to draw. That we just easily do by set color, and then we write in which color. I take here red just to have a big contrast so you can easily see it on the black background. Then in our first example, maybe you got it already. I called it here Hello World. We just want to write Hello World in the black background. That's why we have to define the font size in which we want to write. So we make here font size. We will have here font size of 50. You can experiment a little bit with it. You can make it larger, smaller, as you like it. And then easily we type the text we want to see there. Our text is Hello World. And that's it. If we run this now, then we will see our Hello World on the black background. And here it is. And here you can also see what the origin does. The origin puts our 0, 0 exactly here in the middle. If we remove this here and run it now, then you can see it's not here in the picture because our Hello World is written here exactly and goes goes out of the picture. And that we want to avoid. That's why we used here this origin function. Okay, that was really easy. And now I want also to show you how easily you can really make your own geometries in Luxor and make your own picture. For this, I put everything out except something like here the drawing. We'll give him another name. Just like picture 1, but you can call it as you want. The origin we will delete for now. We still will have a black background, that's why I keep it here. The color we also take red. Then we will not work with text, that's why we delete it here. In the end, this finish command we need always to tell Luxor, yeah, our drawing is now finished. And preview, we also want to see it. We want to see the picture, so that's why we keep it there. And then we want to make here a rectangle in our picture. And that's really easy. We have here already a function by Luxor. It's just called rect. And we put in here our start coordinate x, our start coordinate y, 100, 100 for example. Then we put in the height and the width of the system. So again 100, 100. And in the end, we put in here with this double point, it's just because it's defined like this. If you want to have it filled or stroked, for example. So in this case, we want to have it fill. Now, if we run this, then you can see here, here's our 0, 0 now. Here's 100, here's 100. Then we have 100 width, 100 height. And that is here our rectangle we generated. And it's like this because we said fill, so we have it filled here. Now let's add another rectangle, this time not filled and in a different size. So we put in rect again, and this time we start at 200, 200. That we are doing because the other rectangle here will end in 200 because 100 plus 100 is 200. Then we give him also a height and width of 200 and 200. And this time we don't want to fill it, so we type in stroke here. So if we run this, we have here two rectangles. One's the filled, the original one, and then here the new one, which double of the size and at a different position. That's how we can generate rectangles. So what every picture also needs is circles. And for circles, we first have to define a point. Here we call our point P1, and P1 is a point. This is defined by Luxor, this class. And what we have to give for the point is the x coordinate and the y coordinate. In our example, for example, 750 and 200. Again, it's a position on our drawing. So make sure it's not bigger than you defined here the size of your drawing. That is our point. And then with this point we can use the circle function And the circle function can be done by this. We just have to give a point in. Then we have to give the radius in, for example 40 pixels. And again, if we want to have it filled or stroke, I decide here for fill. That's why I write fill here. And if we run this, here you can now see the circle. It's at the position of our point, so 750 pixels from here and 200 down. And here is the point exactly. And then we have 40 pixels radius, which is drawing here our circle. Also, we can do a line. For a line, we need 2 points. So we make a second point, again with our function here, point of course. And the second point should be at 750 and 800 in y direction. And now we can use the line function. And in the line function, we put in 2 points, start point and end point. And again, we define which it should be. For line, only stroke makes sense. So we write here stroke and then we run it. Now you can see we add here another line. And these are all the basic elements with which you can make your own pictures. Or of course, with the lines, you can also make the square here if you want to do it, but Luxor provides already this functionality. But this is how you can make pictures with Luxor. One thing maybe I want to show you in the end is also, of course, you can here define your own functions and just use the code and make your own functions with the provided code. So for example, we want to have a function which generates 2 squares next to each other. The first one should be filled and the other one should be a stroke one, so an unfilled square. And that we want to generate with one command. So let's do it. First we have here our function command. Then we call it just 2 squares. Maybe not the best name for bigger projects, but for this should be okay. And what we give as arguments is, since we want to generate 2 squares, we can look here, we can use the rectangle function. So we need a starting point, an end point, and width and height. So that's just we do. We define our arguments, start x coordinate, start y coordinate, then our width and our height. That's all what we need. Then we close it here, just that we don't forget it. And that's what we should do is, first we generate a rectangle. This rectangle should be at the position start x, then start y. It should have the width and the height, which we give to them. If you look at this all comes from here. So we give it as input in the function and then it gets used here. Then we have our second rectangle, and the second rectangle should be on the right side, exactly at the same position and not filled. Here we forgot also to define that we want to have it fill. So our second rectangle again, this time because we want it on the right side where the other one is ending. Right here start x plus our width in this example. Then same height, so start y. We want to have the same size, so same width and same height. And this time we want it unfilled, so we type in here stroke. And that's it already. This function now we can use wherever we want. So we put it in here and we call it here 2 squares. We call the function. So what values give me in? Just 500, 550 and 70. We change the color here that you can see the difference. Set color to blue. And then let's run it. Now you can see here, this was our original picture, and then we have here our squares generated by our function we quickly programmed. And that was already our basics of Luxor. Luxor is a really powerful program, so you can do a lot of more things, but in general they are all based on these easy functions, like I make a line, I have some points, I have some circles. So you really can use with these functions and make really complex pictures, like for example the Julia logo or everything you want. Be creative, play around with the package. If you have some questions, write in the comment, and then see you next time. I hope you liked this lesson. It's a bit more, not really learning, but it's more a fun lesson where you can play around and get inspiration for your new projects. And then I'm looking forward to the next class and see you again. Until then, bye.